Before we even talk about money, I need you to understand something. Money isn't just currency. Money is your life in physical form. It's hours you worked, energy you spent, days you'll never get back. So when you waste money, you're not just wasting cash, you're wasting pieces of yourself. And I learned that the hard way. There were seasons in my life where money just disappeared. Not because I wasn't broke, not because I was unlucky, but because I was unconscious. I didn't respect it. I didn't respect myself yet. This video isn't about being cheap. It's about becoming intentional. It's about waking up, because once you see money for what it's really worth, you stop throwing it away on things that don't build your future. You stop funding the version of yourself that's distracted, and you start funding the version that's dangerous in a good way. Let's talk about the real wastes. Not surface level, not TikTok level, real life. I want you to really sit with this before we go any further, because most people think money problems are financial. They're not. They're spiritual, they're emotional, they're structural. When your life has no structure, your money has no structure. When your mind is chaotic, your spending becomes chaotic. When your identity is weak, you try to buy one. I lived that. I remember checking my bank account, not even being shocked that it was low. I expected it, because deep down, I didn't believe I was someone who held onto value. I didn't believe I was disciplined. I didn't believe I was worth building something long term. So money just passed through me like water through broken hands. Not because I didn't work hard, but because I didn't live intentionally. That's what this video is really about. Not money, identity. Who you are when nobody is watching. Who you are when nobody is validating you. Who you are when discipline is the only thing left. Number one, trying to look rich instead of becoming free. This is the root of almost every financial mistake. Trying to look rich feels powerful in the moment. You walk different, you feel different, you feel like you've made it, but it's all an illusion. I've been there, buying things not because I needed them, but because I wanted to feel like someone who had their life together. New clothes, nicer shoes, better phones, going out more, spending more than I earned, just to feel like I belong in rooms I hadn't built the foundation for yet. That's not confidence. That's compensation. Looking rich gives you dopamine. Becoming free gives you peace. Looking rich makes you dependent on appearances. Becoming free makes you independent of them. And here's the painful truth. Most people don't want freedom. They want approval. Freedom is quiet. Approval is loud. Freedom looks boring and approval looks exciting. Freedom is waking up with no fear, and approval is waking up needing validation. When you try to look rich, you become a slave to perception. When you become free, you stop caring how it looks because you know what it is. I had to learn to let people underestimate me, to drive something average, to wear simple clothes, to not explain my choices, to not compete. That was harder than being flashy, but that's where strength was built, because real power is silent and real wealth doesn't need witnesses. Instead of spending money to look successful, spend money to remove pressure, pay off debt, build savings, buy time, buy peace, and buy margin. That's freedom. Number two, buying a brand new car. Instant status, long-term loss. This is one of the most socially accepted financial traps in the world. Nobody questions it. Everybody congratulates you. You feel like you've leveled up. But financially, it's one of the worst decisions most people ever make. You take something that instantly loses value, attach years of payments to it, add insurance, fuel, maintenance, stress, and call it progress. I used to think a nicer car meant I was becoming more successful. Now I understand. It just meant I was becoming more financially committed. Freedom doesn't care what you drive. Freedom cares about low stress, low obligation, high flexibility, high control. A flashy car gives you attention. A paid-off car gives you leverage. One feeds ego, the other feeds peace. Ask yourself this: do you want to look like you're winning or actually be winning? Number 3, designer and luxury brands. Paying thousands to advertise someone else's logo. Most people wearing luxury are still stressed about money. That should tell you everything. I used to think wearing expensive brands meant I had made it, like somehow the clothes would upgrade my identity. But what I didn't realize is that luxury doesn't make you powerful. It just makes you visible. And visibility without stability is dangerous. You're telling the world, I'm successful, while your bank account is quietly screaming, I'm fragile. That's not confidence, that's pressure. Real wealth is being able to walk into any room in plain clothes and not feel smaller. Real wealth is not needing symbols. Most people buy luxury to borrow identity. They want to feel important without building importance. They want status without sacrifice. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear. If you need a logo to feel valuable, you haven't built real value yet. When I stopped buying things to look impressive, something shifted. I stopped trying to be seen and started trying to become. Instead of spending money on brands, I spent it on food that fueled me, books that sharpened me, gym memberships that strengthened me, tools that improved my work. Luxury fades, strength compounds. One builds an image, the other builds a man. Number 4, overspending on weddings. One day of celebration, years of financial pressure. Love is beautiful and commitment is sacred. Marriage is powerful, but starting your life together under financial stress is not romantic. It's risky. We've turned weddings into performances instead of promises, into debt ceremonies instead of covenant moments. People spend insane amounts to impress guests who go home the same night, while they carry payments for years. That never made sense to me once I woke up. The goal isn't to throw the most impressive wedding. The goal is to build the strongest marriage. And financial stress is one of the biggest marriage killers on earth. Imagine starting your life together with no debt, with savings, with margin, with peace. That's romantic. Not a bigger cake, not fancier flowers, not a better venue. Peace is luxury. Security is romance. A small wedding and a stable future will always beat a grand wedding and quiet anxiety. Number 5, degrees with no real market value. This one is uncomfortable, but it needs to be said with honesty and love. Some degrees don't increase your earning power. They just delay adulthood and add debt. Education is powerful. Knowledge is sacred. But not all education is equal in the marketplace. We were taught, just go study something, follow your passion, it'll work out. That advice ignores reality. Passion without practicality becomes pressure. Dreams without structure become debt. I've seen people come out of university brilliant, kind, smart, motivated, but completely financially stuck. Not because they were lazy, but because nobody taught them to ask, what does this degree actually lead to? You're not betraying your creativity by being strategic. You're protecting your future. You can still create, dance, write, design, teach, build art, but your income must be stable before your expression can be free. Debt is not freedom, and debt taken without a plan is a trap disguised as ambition. Your education should empower you, not imprison you. Knowledge should expand your options, not shrink them. Number 6, Streaming subscriptions, they quietly drain your money and your attention. You pay monthly to stay distracted. It sounds harmless, it's only a small amount. It helps me relax. It's just entertainment. But added up over years, not just the money, the hours, the mental energy, the attention span you lose. Streaming doesn't just cost money, it costs momentum. It teaches your brain to escape instead of engage, to consume instead of create, to scroll instead of build. I had seasons where I could watch entire series in days and then look back at the month and think, what did I actually build? Nothing. Just memories of fiction, things that don't even exist. There's nothing wrong with rest, but there is something dangerous about habitual distraction. What if instead you read one chapter, took one walk, prayed for 5 minutes, planned one small goal, one workout? Those moments stack. Streaming doesn't stack. It dissolves. You're either building a future or you're renting distraction from it. Number 7, alcohol. You pay to feel worse tomorrow, financially and physically. It's one of the worst ROA purchases in modern life. This one hits hard for me because alcohol didn't just waste my money, it wasted my time, my clarity, my weeks. I drink on Friday, recover Saturday, feel flat Sunday, and suddenly half my weekend was gone. Not building, not training, and not reflecting, not growing, just surviving what I paid for. Alcohol makes you feel free in the moment, but it steals structure quietly. It dulls discipline, it blurs vision, it delays progress. And the scary part, it disguises itself as normal. But normal doesn't mean healthy. Normal doesn't mean powerful. When I stepped away from it, I noticed something. My mornings became sharper, my body recovered faster, my emotions stabilized, my discipline strengthened. I wasn't numbing myself anymore. I was facing myself. And that's where growth lives. If you need alcohol to relax, it means your life needs restructuring, not numbing. Number 8, eating out constantly. This one feels small. That's why it's so dangerous. It doesn't show up as one big mistake. It shows up as a habit. It's just today. I don't feel like cooking. I deserve it. I'll eat better tomorrow. And then months pass. Your money leaks quietly. Your body feels heavier. Your energy drops. You don't notice it all at once. You notice it when you look back and think, how did I spend so much and build so little? Eating out constantly isn't just expensive financially, it makes you dependent. Dependent on convenience, dependent on impulse, dependent on mood. Cooking teaches you something deeper. Patience, planning, self-respect. When you cook, you're telling yourself, my future matters, my health matters, my discipline matters. There was a season where I lived on takeout, not because I couldn't cook, but because I didn't want responsibility. I wanted comfort without effort, speed without structure, and I paid for it in money, in energy, in confidence. When I started preparing my own food, something shifted. I felt grounded, I felt capable, I felt in control again. It wasn't about saving money, it was about reclaiming authority over myself. Eating out should be intentional, a choice, a moment, not a lifestyle, because the way you eat is the way you live. Number 9, tech upgrades you don't need. New devices, same habits. That's the truth nobody likes to say. We convince ourselves this will make me more productive, this will level me up, this is an investment. But most of the time, it isn't. It's novelty disguised as progress. A sharper screen won't fix a scattered mind. A faster phone won't build discipline. A better laptop won't create structure. Tools only amplify who you already are. If you're unfocused, better tech makes you more distracted. If you're disciplined, even basic tools becomes powerful. I used to chase upgrades, thinking they would upgrade me, but growth doesn't come from hardware. It comes from habits, silence, planning, training, faith, and consistency. Your phone doesn't need to be newer. Your thinking does. Your device doesn't need more power. You do. And now, just pause for a moment. Look at the pattern. Every waste we spoke about had one thing in common. It wasn't really about money. It was about escaping responsibility, avoiding stillness, chasing identity, borrowing comfort, delaying structure. Money just reveals the direction of your soul. When your life is chaotic, your spending becomes chaotic. When your mind is scattered, your finances scatter with it. When your identity is weak, you buy symbols. When your discipline is strong, you build substance. This is where faith changed everything for me. Because structure doesn't come from motivation, it comes from alignment. Spending time with Jesus taught me stillness, taught me humility, taught me that peace is stronger than pleasure. That discipline is love. That clarity is freedom. When your spirit is anchored, your money stops leaking. When your soul is ordered, your life follows. I stopped asking, what can I buy? And started asking, who am I becoming? That question changes everything. Here's what I've learned. Most people don't waste money because they're irresponsible. They waste money because they're unstructured inside. Once your life gains structure, your spending follows. Wealth isn't about what you own. It's about what owns you. If alcohol owns you, you're poor. If validation owns you, you are poor. If distraction owns you, you are poor. But if discipline owns you, if faith anchors you and clarity guides you, you are already wealthy. Not because of what's in your bank account, but because of who you are becoming. And that kind of wealth can never be taken from you.